Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm Violeta Bava. I'm based now in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and very happy to be here with you, collaborating as guest curator of New Zealand Film Festival in this very special, unique edition. I'm very glad to be here introducing Young Hunter by Marco Berger, a very dear filmmaker from Argentina who already has a number of very successful films that have been all over the world. And this year he has premiered a film that is very special and particular in his filmography. So I would like to introduce you to this young talent filmmaker. Hello, Marco, how are you?
Fine, very well, thank you very much.
You are welcome. So your film premiered in Rotterdam this year, and then it's started to be around. It's like one of the first film of this COVID era. At least the first one for you, the first experience like this. But it's still I'm sure you are very happy that the film is going around. And I would like to start from the very beginning. The initial idea of this film, since you have worked in many of your previous work in the romantic comedy tone, and this is a film where you move more towards to the thriller. I would like to know about the initial idea and how was that move?
Young Hunter is a thriller. Actually, it's not the first time I work with this kind of film. Absent is a little also kind of a thriller with parts of terror like Young Hunter. But actually, I think when I move from one film to another, for example, my last film, it was The Blonde One, and it was a drama, and before The Blonde One, it was Taekwondo, and it was a comedy. So I think I sometimes I first choose like the particular way to shoot, like thriller or comedy or drama or love story. So I think I was after Taekwondo. This was actually the first film I wrote after Taekwondo. Then I made The Blonde One in the Middle, very independent. So I wanted to move completely opposite from Taekwondo, so make this thriller, but just for me as a filmmaker, just to make different things. So that's why I wanted to make a thriller in the beginning. And the idea came from a newspaper, or I don't know how to say, like from television news in the early 2000, and it was this teacher. It was like a computer teacher or a math teacher, like was taking young boys with a guy, like 18 years old guy, and both together they were like I don't know how to say, like taking boys in these classes, and after the class showing like porn, and then taking these boys to make like sex parties. And that's why the idea in the beginning came from. And then yes, I thought it was a good subject. I actually, in the end of the film, I wanted to talk about like human ethic, but the environment, I wanted to be like this thriller or this like porno porno problem, for a way to say it. And that's where the idea came from. It's very difficult in English, of course, because it's not my language.
No, it's very clear anyway, and I'm sure for those that have already watched the film, they know what you're talking about. And your cast for this film, when I'm sure it's very interesting, the process of writing from that idea to what is the film, but then not easy to cast very young actors. How was that? Because they are very precise, very accurate. Are they professional actors? How did you work with them?
Actually, I was really lucky for two things. Before the youngest, I was making the casting, not me. Actually, I used to make my casting, but this time I let Javier De Pietro, the casting director of the film, I let him to do it because they were really young, and I know a lot of actors, but I know them since they have like 18 or 20 because I have a school, or I see them in, I don't know, in plays or television. But in this film, they were really young. So I said to him, okay, you make the casting, you find people, and then I prove these people, and I choose between the people you take for the casting. So that's why it was the first part of the casting. It was like these boys around 18 and 21, 22 for the main character. We wanted a boy, like it was not actually really young, because here in Argentina it's really difficult to work with very young people, because you have like 6 hours and you cannot like shoot in a row. You have to like live in the middle like 2 or 3 days so they can rest. So we said, okay, the main character is 15, but it could be a boy like 18 or 19 or 20. In the end, it was 21, this boy. So I was really lucky with this boy because he was really talented, and this face, like this strangest face, Juan Pablo Sestaro, sometimes he looks like an animal, or like a really young guy, or really old guy, or really beautiful or not beautiful, or nice or not, kind of crazy. So this was amazing, but it came from this casting. And the other boy, the 13 years old boy, it has to be really young actually, but I don't think it's a boy in 18, like looks like 13. So we was trying to find, and actually the problem with this film, it was the family, because you have to say the family what the film is about, and maybe they don't understand, and it's involved sex, and even it's not shoot the sex, but you know people having sex or people being naked and blah, blah. So I think it was difficult to think about the family, to explain the family how to put their kid in a film. So I was watching Instagram, and one of the main characters, the other one, the guy like we call like a monkey, with the guy with tattoos, he's also 21, 22, and he has this picture in Instagram with this little boy, and I said, oh, who's your friend? I want to meet your friend. Maybe he doesn't want to be an actor or something. So the actor told me, no, he's not my friend, he's my brother. And he actually wants to be an actor. He actually studied drama for several years. So it's, wow, okay, he was 15. He came to the casting, he was kind of high. He was in this age where they grow really fast, but it worked, it was okay for the film. So I cast him, and he was perfect. He was an actor, like a really natural actor, and it was no similar, he's not like, I think you said it resembled with the brother, so they are really different. You cannot notice they are family, and it worked for the film. So it was really lucky in a way. That's why I say it was lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we are talking about the actors and the film addresses, among other things, the sexual exploration, and how important it was it for you, the physicality and their bodies and their body language, because there's a lot of scenes where they don't say, but things happen between the way they look at each other, the way they move. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I wanted to be really careful actually, because I didn't want to make like a sexual film. it's a film like criticized actually like the young people exposed. So that's why I want to be really careful. Juan Pablo Sestaro, I knew he was like 21 and he looks like 15, 16. And he was kind of sexy in a way, but I wanted to be careful with, because I used to shoot actually like homoerotic films with sex, like the blonde one, and with relationship and nakedness. So I wanted to be careful about that. But it was important because I want to talk about the sexuality of young people, because actually I think young people have sex, and actually the problem is that the not young people, like the old people, taking care of these characters or in the life of these people. So it was a challenge to try to make a film with showing the bodies, showing they are sexual, they have like sexual relationships, but don't show this, or be careful with the bodies. And with the youngest, like this guy in 15, Patricio, he actually portrayed a 13-year-old boy. And in this particular character, it was really good because I needed like this young boy without hair in the arms, with these long fingers, like he's really a teen, like growing. But also I was really careful not to show any like sex part of the boy, because it was not the point of the film. Actually, the point of the film was to talk about this problem, but I didn't want to make a film like, I want to make more a intelligent film or a political film, rather than a film like is, how do you say, like polemic, you know? It's okay in English, polemic?
Yeah, like provoking with this. And
Yeah, I didn't want to make a provocative film. I wanted to make a smart film about the subject, because I think the subject is really, it's not easy to take. I wanted to be delicate.
no, yes, it is indeed very complex subject, and it's not only one. There are many layers. But you just mentioned who takes care of these young boys, and also you mentioned the family for the cast. So, and it is there in the film, presented as a subject, the relationship or the lack of communication between the generations. And also we see that in more than
Yeah,
one situation. Also the grandparents, like the absence of parents in one case, and for the character of Ezequiel, the difficulties. Can you tell us also about that? That is a subject that I'm sure it's very much part of. Yes, it's for all over the world. We have these difficulties in communication between the different generations.
yeah. It was actually the point of the film. One of the things I want to talk about is about communication. Not communication in what the young people do with the phones and blah blah, because we know it's very difficult, and we know the social network is complicated. But this particular subject about young people not able to talk to the family they are gay, so they have to be hidden. The mirror of this was my own life. When I was young, I think I was in really creepy places, and nobody knew because I was gay, and nobody knew about my sex life. So I was in these clubs or in the street, or meeting men and going to apartments with, so nobody knew. If society gave me in the past the opportunity to have like a regular sexuality, like in the school, if I could have a boyfriend in the school, if I could have my first experience with another boy in my age, if this works and the family is there containing this, is like nothing actually could happen to you. But this is a way to say, okay, if you let your boy, or if you deny the possibility of being gay, is kind of, not this could happen, but actually in a way, yes, because you feel really lonely when you're gay and you cannot say it. And it's not like, because I'm 40 now, So it's not like because now it's 20 years and now everything is like very normal, because maybe it's normal in a particular part of Buenos Aires, in Palermo, with really open-minded families, but actually in all the country, in all South America, and even in most of the places of the world, is really difficult. Not even communication. In some places it's actually forbidden. It's really bad. But in the places where it's not so bad to be gay, even is a problem, the communication. So I wanted to talk about this communication. It's like in absent, in a way. One of the most important things in absent and in the young hunter is communication. In absent is this homophobic teacher that has not good communication with the girlfriend, so he cannot say the problem he has. And young hunter, this young boy is gay, nobody knows, everybody expects he has a girlfriend, so he has no communication with his family, and that's why he sees involved in all this situation, right?
Was so interesting and good to hear you, Marco. Of course, we have many other possible questions and thoughts, but I hope we will have the chance to welcome you in New Zealand Film Festival in the future. And thank you very much for joining us here online.
Oh, thank you very much to you for all the festival, and you, Violeta, for making this interview. Thank you very much. Gracias, Violeta.
Gracias.
Thank you.